call the meeting to order. Can we rise for this pledge of allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we do introductions?
Roseanne Marini, District Clerk.
Mary Vitaliatis, Assistant Superintendent, Elementary Education.
Anne-Marie Marone Caliendo, Assistant Superintendent, Finance and Facilities.
Stephanie Guerin, Board Trustee. Diana Akampora, Board Trustee.
Jack Feldman, Counsel to the Board of Education.
Kelly Fallon, Superintendent of Schools.
Eric Geringswald, Board President.
Betty DiSabato, Board Vice President.
Paul Feller, Board Trustee.
Adam Feinberg, Board Trustee.
John O'Farrell, Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Education.
Patrick Harrigan, Deputy Superintendent.
Okay, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes of June 8th.
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Great. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes of July 1st.
Motion?
If somebody I did post the minutes.
I did not see the minutes for June 8th, so I'm not going to put it on.
Okay, I'm sorry, I
If it was
apologize.
in there, then I just didn't see that. I know that was the one we had discussed. I think I've said my piece on it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Okay, so we have
Mr.
5 yeses,
Clerk,
1 abstention?
Did you abstain?
Uh-oh.
Abstain?
Okay. So motion to approve the July 1st minutes. Do
Motion?
we have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Great. Yes. I'll read this. Under the open meetings law, the audio or videotaping of a public board meeting is legal as long as it remains unobtrusive and does not disrupt or interfere with the deliberative process or the right of persons in attendance to observe or listen to the proceedings. Although the district is not recording, the public should be advised that this meeting is subject to being taped, and thus that any comments, questions, or statements made during public portions of this meeting may appear in print or online, including YouTube or other websites. I'd also like to make a comment that members of the public may see board members accessing their electronic devices. Those electronic devices are how the board members are accessing the paperwork that we have that backs up the items that we're voting on. 3 years ago, we decided to go to paperless board meetings, and the result is that individuals are using their own devices. We did not want to incur the expense for the district to buy the devices for everyone, so everyone uses their own computer, so that way they're familiar with it, they're comfortable with it, and it benefits the district, saves the district money, and allows the board members the freedom to work in a manner that they're comfortable working. So, great. Any correspondence?
No.
Any updates from board committees?
The policy committee will have first meeting of the new school year this Friday, 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning here, and it's open to the public, so welcome anybody that wants to attend.
Any other committees?
The legislative committee, Mrs. Moore Caliendo and I are going to go over a few items, and then we'll bring it to our committee, and then we'll meet.
Excellent,
We don't have a date yet.
great. Any other committees? No? Okay. Any pending or unfinished business? First comments from visitors?
None.
Can I ask a question, if I didn't sign up?
Sure.
Can you tell me what was changed from the minutes from June 8th? Last time they weren't approved, and they were approved tonight with any changes from the original?
I think it has to deal with the motion to go in executive session.
And what was the change?
I don't have the other ones, so I can't compare the two, so off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to let you know. Oh, there was no change? Okay. Okay.
So I could FOIL that information then if you
Yes.
don't have it?
You absolutely can.
Okay.
Good. Turn the meeting over to Mrs. Fallon.
Great, thank you, Mr. Gerenswald. Before we get into the business portion of the meeting, the assistant superintendents are going to provide an overview to the Board of Education and the community regarding all of the work that has taken place throughout the district throughout the summer. So I would ask for Dr. Harrigan, if you could begin, please.
Thank you, Ms. Fallon. Well, the summer is a lot with the teachers about training. So we start with probationary teacher workshops, which is a 3-day training for teachers who are non-tenured. And this year they did information on 5 Minds for the Future. They did some work around social studies with a text called A Long Walk to Water, which is actually interesting, a text we use in the elementary school and in AP classes. We've also used it to train paraprofessionals. Changes to Part 154, which we talked a little bit about last spring for our English new learners. A lot of changes coming to the program. They did some information on healthy living. Dr. Catapano did some work with them around acceptable and appropriate uses of social media as teachers. And I ran a session on practical wisdom and different theories so that they can kind of better understand and work with their students. We ran 38 PEPs this summer. So we had literally hundreds of teachers trained throughout the summer with various courses taught by our special education coordinators, many taught by teachers who are experts in their field. We also did leadership council for our administrators, a training. We are just a couple days away from new teacher orientation. We have about 20 new teachers this year. Some are part-time, some are brand new to the profession, some are changes. They're changing tenure areas within the district, so we'll spend 2 days with those folks on Wednesday and Thursday this week. And then also, of course, we have plans for our superintendent's conference day. So a great deal of training and enhancing professional for our teachers. We've also continued along with the expansion of ASOP, which is a product we use for substitute calling. In June, we implemented it for teachers. We've now added administrators, we've added clerical, paraprofessionals, monitors, so we're just continuing with that process to streamline. We had a change. We used to have a sub-caller who got up very early in the morning and made hundreds of phone calls. We now do it online. We saw our benefits right away in June in terms of our ability to cover classes in a day where just one person couldn't keep up with that demand, so that's something we're continuing to expand. And also, as you know, in June we accepted the retirement for Mr. Panacho, so we started that process first with an extensive review of credentials. We had a lot of applicants for that particular program, and we've done a first round of interviews as we just continue to pare down. So a lot of steps still to go in that process. We had really about 16 good interviews last week, so we're going to just keep narrowing down that pool till we get someone who's not only highly qualified, but also really a good fit for Half Hills. We had a lot of highly qualified people doing good work in their current jobs and current school districts, but we're looking, just for that right person for us. So that will continue throughout the fall and as we go through that process.
Great.
And then it was September.
And then it was September. Thank you, Dr. Harrigan. Elementary level, Mrs. Vitaliano.
Thank you, Mrs. Fallon. Summer is an exciting time for us. In Hall Hills, throughout the school year, we work with collaborative teams of teachers, administrators, our directors and coordinators on looking at our curriculum as it unfolds throughout the school year. During that time, all school year long, we take feedback from teachers and collect that feedback. At the end of the year, refine and get a consensus of what needs to be changed, refined, realigned, and that work began first thing, it was July 1st. We met with librarians. A major change for us with the librarians, the teachers, directors, and coordinators was to develop an alignment between the library, technology, and classroom instruction. So we have, with the purchase of additional laptops throughout the district, at the elementary level, our teachers and students will be engaged in technology-infused projects each of the marking periods, and research skills will be introduced through those projects. Collaboration between the computer para who they push into the classroom teacher, the librarians, all will help to have our students engaged in using the technology to connect to the curriculum. Well, we also had teachers very much say that these are things that they're doing anyway in the classroom, so it was part of what they are doing, but it will be consistent across the board. We developed a scope and sequence, kindergarten through 5th grade, for what we expect our students to know, understand, and be able to do in technology. At each grade level, there are specific skills that have been identified as being introduced, reinforced, or mastered at that grade level, and these projects will connect to those skills and those expectations. So that was one of the first major things we did. In English language arts, we refined curriculum at every grade level. One of the things that we're bringing forth as a response to some feedback we heard from the education committee and parents in terms of grammar usage and mechanics being explicitly taught, and so that families see what is happening in that area of the English language arts program. Teachers work together to investigate resources, and we have a grammar usage and mechanics scope and sequence, kindergarten through 5th grade. In grades 2 through 5, the students have a workbook and will be engaged with lessons, 1 or 2 grammar lessons per week that are identified explicitly. You parents will see in grades 2, 3, 4, and 5 the workbooks come home and an understanding of what types of skills specifically are being taught. And the intention is through the writing in the classroom and the tasks that we've assigned district-wide, we expect our kids to be implementing those skills that they're learning. And students will have their editing checklists, teachers have the checklists as well to monitor progress in that area. So we're very excited about that and anxious to roll that out. In support of, we've spoken about this last year, in support of students becoming more independent in their reading and developing their reading comprehension skills, we piloted a program called MyOn last year with more than 17 teachers in the district, throughout the district, where students can gain access to well over 4,000 books, authentic literature, online of their interest and an appropriate reading level. We will be rolling that out fully K through 5 for all students beginning in September. So we have, on Superintendent's Conference Day, we have the representative from MyOn, it's the company, that is going to give the overview of the whole program to all of our teachers, those who piloted and those who did not. There's been some updates and some enhancements even since we piloted last year. We will be having, and I want the parents to know, and we will send communication home, an evening parent workshop for all parents on September 29th at 7 o'clock at West Hollow in the auditorium to expose parents to the program and have them understand what it's all about and to encourage their participation with their child and seeing how they're learning to read. And there are several very good aspects to that program. One is that students can read books at their level, matched to their interests, but also they can read books or listen to books above their grade level. So if I'm reading a book and it's above the level of a classmate of mine, my classmate wants to talk with me about it, my classmate can go online, sign on to the book, and have the book read aloud to them so they can hear it and we can talk together about it. The books also can be converted to other languages, so if you're not a native language speaker, you can hear the book in Spanish. The other piece of it is there's a social media aspect of it that's embedded within the program, so students can recommend books to other students within the district to say, hey, I read this book, it's a great read, kind of like you see like Barnes & Noble, but it can be done online. So we're really excited about that, and we know that research shows that independent reading and students reading more helps to improve their achievement. So there are measurements within the program. You can see, the child can see how they're growing and advancing in their reading and monitor that as well. So there'll be more to share about that. Our teachers in September will be receiving half days of staff development, professional development in the program, the use of the program in September for K through 5, and then once again in January. So and I'll update you more on that as it rolls out, and you'll be finding more out about it if you have an elementary child. We also, let's see, in mathematics, our curriculum, we look to refine it every year. This year, what we spent time on was really looking at all of the resources that could support the program that we have in place. We do use the Envisions program. That's not the only resource we use for the teaching of mathematics. So we added resources for teachers, topic openers that are visual, that could be online, that engage the students. Fluency development, we have that. That is added to that, which means students get to practice their automaticity and their number facts, so the ways that they can access resources for that. And really looking at problem-solving development. We really want our students to be engaged in unique problems so that what they learn in mathematics, they can transfer to new and novel situations, which really is the way you know students have really learned something, not that they're just learning for the test. So that has been accomplished. In science, we realigned the sequence of the curriculum in kindergarten and fourth grade, and one of the goals that we've had for many years, the last several years in particular, is to align our curriculum in social studies, science, and English language arts as best as we can. And the changes that we made in science has to do with it connecting better to the ELA curriculum at that time. So there were minor shifts, but it makes better sense for kids. In social studies, we revised some curriculum in grade 3, and we also revised and aligned curriculum in grades 4 and 5. And teachers, the nice thing about the summertime for us is that we meet with the directors, the coordinators, and all the teachers, and together we accomplish those tasks and make those changes. And as I share with you, in technology, it was a major jump for us to get the scope and sequence kindergarten through 5th grade established, and that at every grade level. So if I'm teaching 3rd grade, for example, I know within the K-5 scope and sequence what my responsibilities are with my students to make sure that our kids are growing in this technology and this consistency in the program. So, and as I share with you, the biggest thing that we're, well, not the biggest thing, but one of the major things we're excited about is the introduction of 1,300 laptops into the elementary program. I've shared at previous board meetings with the public that our students had 26 laptop computers to use on a grade level, and grade levels can range from 100 to 130. So that's a lot of students for just 26 laptops. Now, every 2 classes of students will have 26 laptops to share. So at any given time, you could have at least 13 laptops in the classroom, or 26 if you wanted to do a one-to-one. And our computer pirates push in and have additional technology. We also purchased at every elementary building 35 iPads, and those are in the libraries, and they are to be signed out by students. Right now, we won't be sending the iPads home, but our goal will be eventually, if the students would like to sign those out, they can bring them home, and that will help them access the online MyOn program, the internet-based books that kids can access. And one thing I neglected to share with you is with the online access to the MyOn, all of those books that I shared, the students can get them anywhere there is internet access. They can log on and choose their books. If they're in a place where there is no internet access, every student can download up to 20 books on a device, and it doesn't have to have internet access. And if they've read those 20 books and they want to eliminate, all those books and start over, they can recreate those. At any given time, they can have 20 books available to them, whether there's internet access or not. So it's pretty exciting. We're looking forward to the changes that are coming forth, and today I had a meeting with the elementary principals, and we reviewed everything that we're going to be rolling out with our teachers in large on the second day of Superintendent's Conference Day. So it's an exciting time for us. Summertime's busy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Keller.
So I just like to offer a comment. So really, it sounds like there was a tremendous amount of focus on the 3 Rs, the reading,
Yes.
writing, and arithmetic this summer.
Mhm.
And also in interjecting technology. So it sounds like we're bringing the 21st century to the classroom, and we're also going back to grammar,
Yes.
which we've gotten away from as a society, which you can tell by texting and other forms of communication that are different now. So that's great stuff.
Excited about it. Thank you.
Mr. O'Farrell?
Thank you, Ms. Bell. So as Mrs. Retagliata stated, the summer is really a time where we get a lot of curriculum writing done for new courses that we're offering new electives at the high school, and then any course that we're doing major updates to. This is really the time of year where we get teachers together with coordinators and directors to really articulate the curriculum for the course of the school year. So specifically, we have at the high school we have some new, we have really a new sequence of computer programming classes. We've run computer programming classes in the past, but there were some gaps in our sequence, so that we were not necessarily getting all of the students that would be interested in it based on their their abilities going into it and what their background knowledge was. So we really articulated that a little bit, and we added a few different courses in there so that really students at any entry level, at any point, will be able to take a course and then continue with that sequence. Similar for art, we took a lot of our courses that we've offered in the past, and we are introducing a digital component to it. So we have courses like digital game design or digital design in general. We've offered a design course for years, but we've been very light on the digital component. We haven't done a lot of the design work on computers. So we're really moving in that direction, similar to our photography classes. We're in the process of revamping our photography classes to get a little bit away from the print. Will continue to be a print component, but we're moving into that digital realm. In terms of updates, we've offered an engineering class at the high school for several years now. It's really starting to get some traction. We're offering many more sections this year than we have in the past. And with that, we have some really great teachers that are really committed to that program. So they've been a part of curriculum writing this summer, so we can really have kind of a project-based class that students from any ability level can be in and get a great experience from. So we're excited for that as well. Lastly, in terms of new courses at the high school, Mrs. Sapia has teamed up with, our technology director has teamed up with directors from across Long Island. Really, I think there's 6 or 7 other districts in Suffolk County, and collectively they've partnered with Stony Brook so that we have it's a course that Stony Brook calls the Digital Generation. It's essentially a course that college students would participate in on their campus to basically create a web presence for a fictitious business. We've taken that course format and brought it down to the high school level. Similar projects, but what the students are going to be doing is not just working within the district. They're going to be collaborating with students from Bayport Blue Point, Northport, West Hampton Beach, districts all over Suffolk County. And at the end, the culminating activity will actually be to present their project together at Stony Brook on the campus there. Similarly, for curriculum writing, we also do that for updates in the social studies department at the middle school level. We were in need, and we've been doing a lot of research on getting a new textbook into the program. We've actually opted not to use a textbook. We're really using a digital resource. Discovery Education is a completely online program that goes far beyond just a textbook. It's really it's an interactive website resource that students are going to be able to use both in the classroom and at home. So we're committed to that. We've done a lot of curriculum writing for that as well. The Algebra 2 course will be new for this year. We've had a lot of math teachers in, Algebra 2 teachers in over the summer, making sure that all the teachers are fully prepared. We've been doing, Mr. Dunst, our math director, has been doing professional development for the last month or so. The teachers are ready to go. We have a great curriculum in place for it.